Thank you very much for
Thanks for coming. Honored to have.
greetings from Anselm Grün.
Oh, give him my
I make a
regards.
book with him in the next 5 years.
Yes.
There we
Camera
go.
rolling.
All right.
Richard Rohr.
You know, I'm going to start by making it even shorter than that. One time I was asked, you've probably heard me, to sum it up in 2 words. Now, they're going to be 2 big words, but Germans are good at big words. So, incarnational mysticism. Now, I'll explain that. Incarnational means it's in the material, physical world. And yet mysticism implies that it makes much bigger connections, that it's not trapped in this physicality, but it goes through the physical world to what we call spiritual. Now, the final effect is they end up being the same thing. That we come to matter through spirit, we come to spirit through matter. Now, the only thing I'd add to that, since you gave me a couple sentences, I've already gone beyond it, is, and this is very much from Jesus and from Francis, that I feel you have to have a bias toward the disenfranchised, the bottom of society instead of the top, or all of this becomes elitism. It becomes a spirituality that makes you feel superior to other people. And if that corrective isn't there somewhere in your life, you tend to go astray. So incarnational mysticism with a bias toward the bottom. You know, I was able to move into, and I guess through, doubt somewhat sequentially or cumulatively. I was raised probably like most evangelicals or most Lutherans of my generation without much doubt. You had lots of certitudes, lots of absolute answers. But then the 60s came when I was a young man, and there the whole culture entered into cultural doubt about everything. We now call that postmodernism. But there it happened year by year, 62, 63, 64, 65. So I was able to sort of move through it, holding on to what was good about my earlier certitudes, but what wasn't good about them. So I was able to balance what I call order with disorder. Disorder is what you're calling doubt. You know, if this will make sense, speaking to you from the Lutheran tradition, I think the Protestant Reformation was the introduction of necessary doubt into Catholic, glib, naive certitude. You understand? Now, we didn't like it because we were used to our certitudes. But then, of course, you had to go through the same journey. In a short while, Lutherans had created order out of this disorder, and that became the new God. We all do it. There's no avoiding the journey from order to disorder to reorder. Yeah. You know, I'm sorry, I should have responded to that in the previous question. I didn't mean to make it all theoretical. For me, but again, I'd have to say the same. I've never had a single big crisis, but cumulatively, intellectual, emotional, relational, social, where I just would go through years of, am I a phony? Do I really believe all this? Have I ever really loved anybody? Did I become a priest for the wrong reason? Did I become celibate for the wrong reason? And almost all of the answers were yes. So it was like that inner, emotional, relational doubt and self-doubt. But not one, there wasn't one big one. Those are cute little legs on that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. there's a crack in everything.
Oh, yes.
That's how the light gets in.
Leonard Cohen. See, here's where science is becoming the best friend religion has ever had. Because your high-scale astrophysicists, physicists, biologists, all say that nothing really dies, it just changes. That's the whole nature of the known universe. Even going so far as to say that the atoms that apparently existed, you know what I'm going to say, 2 seconds after the Big Bang are the same amount of atoms on, that's what they tell me. I don't know how you prove that, but in our Catholic funeral liturgy, we say, life is not ended, it merely changes. There it is. But I'm going to perhaps talk about this tonight. We made the resurrection a unique, anomalous miracle in the life of Jesus, instead of the universal pattern of creation, that all crucifixions are moving toward resurrection, that all that we call death is just a stage. Now, this has been intuited in one way or another by most of the world religions. This is not a unique idea, but we didn't help the Christian people by applying it just to Jesus. Jesus rose from the dead. And we're supposed to get all excited that Jesus rose from the dead. Unless it means that we also rise from the dead, if you want to use that phrase. It isn't a very exciting doctrine to us. It really isn't. Okay, Jesus, you won. But human beings aren't interested in things that they're not included in. Makes sense. Little narcissism, I guess.